Hey Crushers, Young here, bringing you a Crush Them All video, and we're going to be kind of going back to our roots a little bit. This is going to be an Epic Rune Chest opening video. Before I get started with this, however, there has been some big news for Crush Them All. Crush Them All has been purchased by a different company, so the company Stillfront Group has purchased Crush Them All from Godsey Lab. What this means for the future of the game, we're not really sure yet, but as I know more, I'll definitely keep you guys posted, so keep a lookout over the next few days, and I'll be doing an informational type video just regarding news coverage for that. So here I am opening up these, and you can see I got some nice poisonous runes. I've got a blight rune there for poison time. What we're really looking at are the primaries, like bonus gold is terrible. You don't need bonus gold. A lot of these, and I should mention, this video is a week or two old in terms of footage. Whenever the last rune pack offering came up, I purchased the, I think, $4.99, $19.99, and $49.99 packs, and that's what I'm opening right here. But it was some pretty cool footage, and I don't really get to show you guys too much rune stuff, and I'm going to be doing a couple more of these rune chest opening videos, so I'm going to open all these, spend about 6,000 flows, and just kind of show you guys more or less priority of what I'm using and how I'm using it. So my rune bag is typically pretty close to full. I just hop into one of my heroes here. I typically sort by stars, scroll down to the bottom, and I dust all of my 1, 2, and 3 star runes. I do not need them for the most part. I'm not really even using that many 4 star runes as much anymore, just because the amount of dust required for them, and I'm getting more of a benefit from 5 and 6 star runes. 5 star runes are really what I'm looking at. Obviously that's going to vary based on where you're at in the game. For me, sitting closer towards the end game stuff, I'm definitely looking at 5 star and 6 stars. I don't just dust 1, 2, and 3 star runes, and you will see some of that in this video as well, where I go in and just select runes that have primaries that I don't need, like ultimate attack. There's a really nice nimble rune with HP primary. So nimble with HP, and it's a 5 star rune, so that's going to be a really good one for one of my tanks. You could see that for Costume, you could see that for Gladiator, you could see that for Shelly even. So definitely some cool stuff there. Attack per second on a guard rune. Guard runes suck in general, but attack per second is great. A 4 star precise rune with attack per second is huge. That's definitely one that will get maxed out. Precise runes with attack per second are very rare and should always be kept for the most part. Keep your 3 star precise runes, especially if they have attack per second early in. Keep all of your 4 star precise runes for the most part, because when it comes down to it, you're going to need them. I can't tell you how many builds require rage, precise, and damage. So you got heroes like, trying to think, you have heroes like Scud, you have heroes like Sorrow, Tesla, Trickster, all benefit from builds like that. I don't recall what I was doing here, just kind of floating around. Yeah, okay. Looks like I got lost for a moment there, but here we go. So same as before, come in, dust all the cheap ones, all those 1, 2s, and 3s. I do not need them. At no point in time am I going to invest dust into them. I do typically keep a few 3 star runes that are more for placeholders that I have locked in the event that I need something very specific. If I need an extra nimble rune or poison time, but for the most part I can probably even at this point go in, you can see them right there, I can probably go in and dust those at this point. I highly doubt that I'm going to be using them. 6-star Swift Rune attack per second primary. That is basically top end for the Swift Runes. That's always a good one to see. And then just some more smaller stuff. I do take my time while I'm opening the Epic Rune Chest for the most part, so that you guys can keep up relatively easily. I miss doing the chest opening videos, and since I'm not really going for medals anymore, we're going to be doing more of these Epic Rune Chest opening videos, just so that we can get some more of that into the mix. Of course, this whole channel started with a chest opening video. That's what got me started in the first place. There's a damage rune with attack primary, 6 stars. That's high end for the 6-star runes. So one thing that I have noticed that has changed just in general as time has moved on through the game. Very early in, I recommended not keeping 6-star runes. I absolutely changed my mind on that. And that's part of what's great about a game like this is strategies do change over time. 5-star precise rune, but it's defense primary, which is terrible, so that one's going to get trashed for dust. Defense primary just sucks, and even on a precise rune, that's not something that I'm going to keep. And since the bag was full, I have to come back in and dust everything. But again, this channel started with chest opening videos, and that's I have a lot of fun doing them. I know you guys enjoy watching them. I don't see myself doing any other heroes for a while, but maybe with Stillfront taking over Crush Them All, maybe there'll be some room for some new heroes, or maybe man, a poisonous rune but defense primary again. Those defense primaries are just terrible. So yeah, if Stillfront does make some big changes, especially if we start seeing other heroes that are similar to heroes that we have now, like a Fire Gladiator or a Light Dark Hunter, something along those lines. 6-star flanks with attack primaries, okay, not great, but okay. If we see some heroes like that, I may get back into doing chest opening videos, and I'm more than happy to save those and share those with you guys. I love being able to do chest opening videos. I get a lot of really good positive feedback from you guys when I do them, and it's, for me, that's something that matters. So I like bringing content that you guys like to see. We'll see what happens with this change of companies. I'm not really sure what that will mean for the game. For the most part, from what has been said, they're kind of just observing currently, and they're not going to make any drastic changes, but they're going to start looking at improving core game mechanics. Okay, see right here, so ultimate attack, I don't need any of the defense ones, so all of those are getting scrapped. I don't need the bonus gold. It's a shame with those, so I might take a better look at them. I don't remember if I ended up keeping those or not. See, attack range there on a precise rune is massive. And move speed's okay, but it's the defense primaries that, yeah, and they're just really, there are better options. There's better runes to go for. Got a lot of room left here, 5,100 flues left to spend, so it's always hard breaking, especially precise runes, the higher end precise runes, but there's always room for better runes, and at this point, unless it's a lot better for me, I'm not going to keep something like that. Now, if that is the high end rune that you have is a 5-star precise rune, but it's defense primary, but it's the only 5-star precise rune that you have, you'll want to keep that for the critical attack chance that you get from that rune. So there's something to be said for that. You'll just have to kind of go based off of what your personal needs are. This is going to be more of a lengthy video, so it's just one of those things to keep in mind when we're doing videos like these. It's it's a little more raw. There's no script or anything for me to follow. I'm not doing a tutorial. It's not a guide. We're just kind of going along and having fun. So you saw the resist rune that I just got there. I personally am still on the fence about resist. I don't have resist runes on a single... Oh, great. I don't have resist runes on a single hero. But I'm kind of nervous, like, what if one gets released and I need them? What am I going to need? I'm probably going to need, HP primary, so it'd be, for a tank. So maybe resist with HP primary, nimble runes, which offer evasion. So maybe nimble with HP primary, and then vitality runes. So, runes like those, there's some nimble runes there. Runes like those would then allow me to have a different type of tank build. Right now the wall tank build for the most part is going to be vitality, nimble, and guard runes. Guard runes with HP primary, which are okay. Defense is okay. It's not great, but it is okay. And the reason why it's not great is because of the prevalence of gunners. And gunners have the ability to pierce, which allows them to bypass enemy defense. So defense basically does not matter for enemy gunners. Which is a good thing to keep in mind for your gunners too. Your gunners don't have to worry about the defense of enemy heroes. But that does lower the value of defense in the game. Blatantly. It blatantly lowers the value of defense. And since it lowers the value of defense, we use guard runes because it's still okay. It's really good against rangers and smashers, like Atlantis and Shelly and, frontline smasher type units. It's really good against stuff like them, but it's not good against, Scud and Sorrow, Misty, the really powerful backline gunners that are prevalent, that most people would consider to be staples within the arena meta at this time. So, just something to keep in mind. You can see I'm getting quite a bit of dust built up from doing all this. Rune dust is, in my opinion, the hardest resource to gather in the game. I know that, star shards are a choke point for awakening materials, but I personally struggle with rune dust because runes are just so expensive. You're talking a little bit over 1 million rune dust to max out a 6-star rune. I don't have a single 6-star rune maxed. If anything, I'd probably take them to level 25 rather than all the way to level 30. There's a vitality with HP primary, which is nice. But yeah, so, I'd probably take it to 20 or 25 is what I do with most of mine. If it's a really good 6-star rune, I'll take it to 25. If it's a good 6-star rune, I'll take it to 20. There's not really a reason to go beyond that for me. And a lot of my 6-star runes end up stopping at 15 just because of how expensive they are to level up. But they are, blatantly better. They're the best runes in the game. 6-star runes offer the best bonuses. Long term, if you've got a really good 6-star rune, you're not going to regret having put dust into it. It's just expensive to do it. Same with your 5-star runes. If your 5-star runes, while you're there, what was I doing here? One rune. Okay. Looking at sets now. Man, I have so many runes. I have actually, since this video, even gone in and cleaned up some more, really took a good look at some of my stunning runes and some of my damage runes and some of my vitality runes, and really, made, nice 4-star nimble rune with HP primary. But yeah, I've gone in HP and HP. There's where we want to see vitality with HP primary, perfect HP rune. But if I went in and it was bonus gold as the primary, and or not as the primary, but as the first secondary stat, and then, like ultimate attack or defense or, something like that for the second one. That's not a rune that I'm really going to be investing dust into at this point. I've got plenty of vitality runes with HP primary that I'm looking for stuff that offer, like HP as the primary, move speed for the top slot secondary effect, and then defense or attack or something like that for the second or third slots. Those are the runes that are going to help long term, and that's kind of the point where I'm at in the game. Now is where I'm needing to think long term, and I'm planning and building long term. And so that's, as I'm making my choices with which runes I need to dust and which ones I need to keep, I've got more runes than I'm going to use. I can already rerune all of my heroes with the runes I've got just in my rune chest. So making the decision on what I need to keep, what I need to get rid of, for the most part, my damage runes with HP primary, I'm not going to need anymore. I have no reason to keep those. Same deal with my vitality runes with attack primary. The heroes that would require those are so niche that I don't need to aim for those. But then I've got stuff like this, my splash runes, and I don't know how I'm going to use them. It makes me nervous when it comes to rune management. Like, what am I going to do? These are my attack primary ones. You see how many I have here. Look at all of those vitality runes. Vitality. And all of those have attack primary. And yeah, some of them are, pretty decent for what they do. Like, with the move speed and no attack range. But I don't really need these. These are not going to help me long term. And so I'm going to go through and I'm going to dust them. And that's a hard decision to make sometime, I can guarantee you that. And I probably don't need a lot of these critical damage ones. And in fact, these are some of the runes that I've since gotten rid of and dusted since this video. I've gotten rid of most of these. I did keep my Precise, I do believe, and my Swift, but all those Rage runes, I dusted, I'm pretty sure, all of them at this point. And I didn't think that I did it back when I did this, but I guess I did. So, and you can see, that's quite a bit of dust I've got built up there too. That's 104,000 for dusting all of those. I've got 400,000 basically right now. So 500,000 dust, and you're going to see me spend it in a matter of seconds, really, just because of how expensive it is to level up your higher end runes. I'm not sure exactly what kind of content. Ooh, nice, a damage rune with attack primary, which that could or could not be a great rune. That kind of leans back to what I was saying before with the nimble runes. So if I go into that one and the first slot is, I say the first slot, the first secondary slot, the slot at the very top on that rune for that damage rune, if that is attack range, regardless of what else comes after that, that rune is going to get maxed. That's something I'm going to use for just about everything. There was a pretty decent flanks rune right there. But a damage rune with attack range is invaluable. So if I have a damage rune with attack primary and attack range, or a damage rune with attack per second primary and attack range, I will drop dust on that in a heartbeat. Those are the runes that I'm actively trying to get. There's a really nice flanks rune with, it's a 5-star HP primary. Obviously we're not seeing the secondary stats. Looking at it from this top down, there's another 5-star damage rune. See, those are common, and that kind of leads back to what I'd been saying. Like, I don't need the damage runes with HP primary anymore. There was a point in time I did keep them, but I don't really need them. There's a few, and very, very, very few heroes that could maybe benefit from that, depending on the build. Kage would be one of them. If not Kage, then another samurai that's built similarly, like Kasai. Those are heroes that could benefit from, an HP, a vitality rune with attack primary, or a damage rune with HP primary. Those are heroes that could benefit from it, but even then, it's not necessary for their builds to work by having those types of runes. So, and the other thing, and I really should mention and stress this, I've only very recently started purchasing Epic Rune Chests. I've still, to date, probably put less than 30,000 flues, which sounds like a lot, but I've probably put less than 30,000 flues into Epic Rune Chests so far, including what you're seeing here in this video. See, and there's that. That was precise with attack per second. That's huge, and you saw how fast my dust dropped from doing that. So you'll see a little bit of rune management as I come into here, and I think I'm going to finish out spending the flues on the Epic Rune Chest, and then go back in and do some rune management, and spend basically all of the dust that was earned throughout this video, because dust is spent way faster than it's earned. So yeah, I do feel like I'm kind of rambling on a little bit, but I just see another precise rune with defense, so that's going in the can. I'm mainly just wanting to kind of connect with you guys a little bit about my personal life. Work's still going good for me. Life in general is going pretty good. My wife and I have been married for 2 years. We're going on 3. Our son is going on 2 years. He's between 1.5 years and 2 years old now, and just an absolute joy. We already had kids. We've got girls. They're older. This is our first boy, and I mean, he's just absolutely wonderful. I'm so happy, and it's so different having a boy and raising a boy. So definitely a new experience for me, and one that I'm enjoying quite a bit. I do appreciate all of you, especially those of you who've watched all of my videos and have been going along with everything, especially since early in. I know a lot of you regular viewers at this point are relatively newer players compared to the 3 going on 4-year veterans that have been sticking with it, but I do appreciate each and every one of you. Let's see, so HP with attack range, not attack per second. Vitality, HP primary with attack range is just not super great. So see, I'm in here, I just have to kind of go in, and that one's okay, not great. Move speed is what I'm really looking for, though. Because move speed is what I want. Defense and bonus gold is not needed. That's okay. That's alright. And yep, that one can dust. And that one's okay. So, and this is where, I really have to just spend time, and I do spend a lot of time going through my runes and figuring out, is this a rune I'm going to ever put dust into? That's the first question I ask myself. Am I ever going to put dust in this? And if I'm not, then why am I holding on to it? And part of it, again, fear. What if a new build is released? Ooh, that's a decent precise rune with AoE radius, which is kind of, honestly, a pretty rare primary for precise rune to have. There's only a few heroes that could benefit from that, like Thorn. Thorn, Atlantis, for example. But, they definitely can and will make good use from a 5-star AoE primary precise rune. So I'd actually forgotten how good this run was. I've been working on leveling some of these runes since I made this video. And this video is only a couple weeks old, but This also gives me a chance to show off just some of the builds that I have going on as well. I've been doing the Gunner Dark Wolf staging team. So that's an endgame staging team. Technically speaking, my Hikari is not high enough level yet to really do it properly. I'm a little bit slower than, is most efficient and recommended. I usually recommend that you have at least a 6-star Hikari and a 7-star Dark Wolf. My Dark Wolf maxed ages ago, but my Hikari is still just 5 stars because I don't really focus light dungeons at all. I was doing dark dungeons, and for those of you that have been following my channel for a while, you know that I did completely max out my dark dungeons, and I have a Trickster completely maxed out. You'll see him, you'll see him towards the end of this video. So, stay tuned for that, because you'll get to see how I had him built when I'd finished this. I do have him built better now. I will include a screenshot of that. I guess I'll just toss it in, once I get to the Trickster portion, and let you guys, take a look at that, just so you can see how I have him built now. I've actually managed to get his attack per second over 100%, so he's attacking super speedy at this point, because Trickster really benefits from as much speed as possible, and then attack as a secondary focus, and then attack range as a third focus, and arguably as a second focus. So I'll show you guys how I have him built now, and it's definitely something. There's better builds, there's players that have better Tricksters than me, but I do have one of the better Tricksters in the game, I would say. And it's just because, I've invested really heavily into his runes, and you'll see that when I post the screenshot showing that off. And if anyone has any questions or comments about any of my builds, I'm always happy to answer any questions that you have. Not all of my builds are the most efficient, but usually if they're not what would be considered the most efficient build, it's typically because, I either lack the correct runes, or the correct runes are on more important heroes. I'm going to prioritize Trickster and Scud over basically any of my other DPS heroes. I'm going to, same thing with Thorn. Same thing with Atlantis. There's heroes that I prioritize my runes with, and I'll allow my other heroes to suffer to some extent to make sure that my core heroes are built properly. There's a Nimble with a attack primary. Getting real low on the flues at this point, so you guys should get to enjoy seeing some of that more in-depth, upgrading runes and the decisions made as far as that goes. My initial plan had been to do all of the audio while I was actively opening these rune chests, which is, historically speaking, how I do these types of videos. That was not possible, and at this point I don't actually remember why that wasn't possible. I don't remember if my recording software had crashed when I tried doing it, or what the case was. But yeah, so here we are, and that's okay. Yep. There's not a lot left to dust without really digging in and dusting a whole bunch of stuff. That just requires too much of individually checking and making decisions. You guys don't want to sit through a whole video like that, I promise, especially with me having to come back later and do the audio over at a later point in time. That does not make for a super fun video when I'm spending 2 hours just going in one rune at a time and trying to decide if it's something that I could see myself using. If I'm, am I going to throw this on Kasume? Am I going to throw this on Kage? Am I going to use this rune? Oh, there's a attack per second. And that's another thing. Like, I keep my attack per second vitality runes. I don't use any of them. I don't know who I would even use it on. I might use it on Kage or on Kasai if I'm going for an attack per second build with one of them, but I don't know that I'm going to. I don't know when I would do that. I've been running a 769 Kasai for a while, and he honestly does quite a bit of damage, a surprising amount of damage. And Mr. Moogle had showed me some stats where he's actually, in the right circumstances, the number one DPS hero in the game. So that's been, a pretty cool revelation. I've played around with him. I did not completely max him out, but I definitely had great results from him. And oftentimes, especially with like Gladiator or Leafblade on the enemy team, I did see him pulling top damage. If the enemy has an Atlantis or Aqua, you can't run him. So, he's good for attacks. Man, that is a good rune. Okay. So that 5-star precise rune that I was just looking at, that one right there, attack range, it would be ideal with attack right after that, but you know what? That's still a really great rune. So just go in, and it's a good idea to keep these runes locked in general, just to keep them safe so you don't accidentally dust something very valuable. These lower end runes, don't really need them. I've got enough higher leveled runes. So there's that AoE radius, and got bonus gold. The 5-star maxed out. It's not going to double the bottom one twice, so that's okay. Let's see what we get here. Attack. Okay, that's perfect. So that one completely maxed out. That's a great rune, honestly. So now, yeah, we can take a look and see. Yeah, see he's not even built correctly. And this is, I needed a bunch of AoE on him. And so, this is what I ended up with because I sacrificed his runes for more important heroes, because Thorn is more important than Atlantis. So I lost that, but this is, basically a perfect rune. You can see basically an immediate improvement there. I've still got 450,000 rune dust, so I could safely invest more rune dust here, because it's just a great rune. See lots of AoE. And one change I believe I have made since this video, I dropped those splash runes completely. I completely dropped them, and I think he is currently running Swift runes with AoE primary. And if I recall correctly, his AoE radius now is like 129% or 139%, something like that. So it was a bit of a drop, but it wasn't a huge drop, and now I've got a bunch of attack per second, like well over 50 or 60% attack per second, which is big. That makes a big difference in the momentum of a battle just because of that. Atlantis does basically require the vitality runes because he needs to be able to survive on the front line. But that especially that 5-star precise rune that I just threw on there, that's a great rune. And even the build that I just showed you for Atlantis is relatively good. So there we've got some more AoE, because AoE matters a lot here. My Misty is built basically to take out enemy Atlantis and enemy Aqua, and for the most part with this build right here, with the 42% AoE radius, she can hit virtually all of the enemy Atlantis that I go up against. There's very few that have enough attack range to stick back away from her. And generally speaking, the ones that do have enough range to stick back, they're on teams that they're teams I wouldn't be able to beat in the first place. They're the top end players with great Ornox, and they have Sir Shu, and they've got Atlantis and Onyx and Kasume, and they've got all their heroes that are just super built up, very tanky, very strong. I wasn't going to beat them anyway, so Misty missing them did not make or break that fight typically. So here we go with Trickster. Again, this build is slightly outdated. I'll post a screenshot right after this bit, but I don't want you guys to miss this. You can see, attack range, attack per second primary. That's a great Swift rune. So taking that up and then maxing that one out at 25 would actually double the attack stat on that rune. Here's another attack per second primary Swift rune. And yeah, come down to the bottom, turn stat on. So these are my attack per second runes. So you can see I've got a few other options here. That one's got attack range in it. So they're okay. That's the only one because the attack range that would be like blatantly valuable. And let's see, critical damage is okay. Attack would have been better on it. But you can see 6.9%, 7.9%. At level 10, it's already better. So that's how much more valuable a 6-star rune is. You can see attack per second already up to 95% with that change right there. 273,000 dust to go. Taking that to 15 dropped me to 171,000. Taking it up to 20 dropped me all the way down. There was my dust on that 6-star Swift rune. 65% attack range, 97% attack per second. Yeah, you can see all of that rune dust gone on that one rune, basically. Was it a perfect rune? No, but it's a valuable rune, and it does make my Trickster build much stronger. So here is the screenshot for how I have Trickster built now, just so you guys can take a look and compare from what I had built here, to what I've got now. So that should prove beneficial to you guys in the long run, just being able to see that. And that is basically all of the time that we have for today. This has been quite a lengthy video. I do appreciate your patience, and I appreciate all of you that are watching this video and supporting my channel. As always, I'd like to give a shout out to Medivh for making the thumbnail for not only today's video, but all of our other thumbnails for our other videos as well. I'd like to give a shout out to all of the Discord users that help contribute to my videos, basically in any capacity. I've got a small staff group that helps with doing, all of the videos that we do. So, I'd like to take a moment to give a shout out to all of them and all of you, everyone that has been supporting us all along. In particular, I'd like to thank GodsyLab for sponsoring today's video. I'd like to thank RSDI, Longest Yaboy, Mr. Moogle, Flocky, and Kahuna for your direct help and support with this channel. And, if you'd like to support this channel in other ways, there's several things you can do. Comments, likes, and subscribing are great ways to show your support. You can also show your support financially by contributing to my Patreon. The link to becoming a patron of this YouTube channel is in the description below this video. And that's all the time we've got. I appreciate you watching this video through to the very end. And thanks for watching.